From smuggling to killing, casinos to illegal substances, the mafia has done it all. And for the most part, men have been at the center of the discussion. But there have been women, female mafia mobsters, who were as iconic as they were notorious. Women who controlled global crime syndicates and had armies of men at their beck and call. In this video, I will show you the most notorious 5 female mobsters in history. Let's dive in. Virginia Hill, 1916 to 1966. Virginia knew how to keep her mouth shut.
Do you ever get any money from any other person whom we might call a gangster other than Siegel?
No.
Did you ever get any money from Costello?
This was a crazy time in 20s?
Did you ever get any money from Meyer Lansky?
I never got money from any of those fellas.
None of those fellas?
None of these that
That
I've
was
been reading
100
about,
years
none
ago,
that I
bro.
knew, they
God
never gave
damn.
me anything.
None of the Fichettes?
No.
You
I
think-
don't even speak to the, I mean, I met that Charlie once or twice. I don't even talk to him.
You don't like him?
No.
Born into poverty on the 26th of August,
Damn.
1916, Ani Virginia Hill
1916.
wanted to
Fuck.
be rich. So when her divorced mother moved to Georgia, she followed before moving to Chicago, where she became a waitress and a lady of the night. She eventually got into the world of crime. By 1933, at the age of 17, she was the mistress to several mob bosses in the East Coast,
Damn, she
moving
was-
money and messages between
she was a
Chicago
whore.
and New York, Los Angeles, and Las Vegas. When the police tried to get her to turn on the mob, Virginia invoked Omerta, the mafia's code of silence.
It's got many different meanings, but what did Omerta mean to you?
It meant open your mouth when you're in a dentist's office. Don't talk.
I don't care who betrayed me. I don't care who ratted on me. I don't care how bad the life was. I took an oath. That's what Omerta is. You took the blood oath. You agreed to keep your mouth shut. You knew you weren't entering fantasy land. It was a criminal life. We knew what we were getting involved in, and we have to shut our mouth.
Her loyalty not only earned the mafia's trust, it also stole the heart of a notorious yet visionary mafia boss named Bugsy Siegel. Bugsy Siegel was responsible for what Las Vegas is today.
Oh, damn.
And back when he met Virginia Hill, he ran several casinos and a bootlegging empire.
Bootlegging.
Above all, he loved Virginia deeply enough to name his biggest casino after her. Unfortunately, Siegel was shot dead in Virginia's Vegas home on the 20th of June, 1947. But strangely enough, Virginia had traveled to Paris 4 days before the shooting, leading many to believe that she knew there was a hit, and she had just abandoned Bugsy to his fate. By 1951, Virginia found herself under national scrutiny
1951.
when a
God
senator
damn.
named Estes T. Kefauver launched an investigation into the mafia. Once again, Virginia kept her lips sealed.
You still bet the horse race?
That's the only thing now, I don't bet anything. Now I'm afraid I'll win, and then they'll say I made more money than I did.
You mean you just don't want to win anymore?
I don't want anymore.
After denying every allegation, she escaped to Europe, where she lived
Oh,
far
damn.
from the American press, with
Okay.
her son Peter and her husband
got
Henry
fought out.
Hauser, an
See,
Austrian.
but being a gangster made a little bit more sense back then. There was a lot of money involved. There wasn't no cameras everywhere. They ain't had no damn trackers on your phone. You know what I'm saying? It made more sense. You can make a lot of money, be discreet, keep it low key, handle your business, be illegal as you want to be, and for the most part, it'll be kind of hard for you to get caught because the technology wasn't there, short. Nowadays, being a gangster is the dumbest shit you could do. Nigga, you be better off we could make more money working at motherfucking Walmart. You hear me?
On the 24th of March,
You guys do your
1966,
homework, right?
she was found dead from an overdose of sleeping pills with her coat.
I want to put y'all on to some of the easiest money you'll ever make in your life. Freecash.com is a website that allows you to literally get paid hundreds of dollars just for playing video games on your phone. All you need is an email and a password. Follow the directions on each of the campaigns and you can earn at least $100. My personal favorite game to play was Sunrise Island, and when I clicked on it, they had a $370 bonus. I got $370 just for playing a video game on my phone. On average, it only takes about 17 minutes for most people to start earning money on freecash.com. So if you need some free, easy, extra money, go to freecash.com, click the QR code right here, or go in the description below and start getting that bag. You did?
Neatly folded beside her, and a note that described how tired she was of life.
Oh, damn.
Since her passing, Hollywood has worshipped her, and today, many in the world of crime still look up to the mob queen.
The mob queen. She's a mob queen.
Stephanie St. Clair,
Oh, she looked like a
1897
gangster.
to 1969.
God damn.
Life in the
1897.
20th century was brutal for black women, and yet this woman managed to rise
she
to
looked
the
like a
top.
strong
Not
one.
much is known about Stephanie St. Clair's background, but many believe she was born on an island off the shores of France in the late 1800s. From childhood,
That's so
Stephanie St.
crazy,
Clair found
1800s,
that she
bro.
had a strong will and cared very little about consequences. So on the 22nd of July, 1911, when she was only 13, she hopped on a boat bound for New York City. Soon, St. Clair got into the booming gambling business in Harlem. It was the mid-1920s, and gambling in Harlem was a black man's racket. And yet, St. Clair was able to get those men to work for her. They even became fiercely loyal to her. At her peak, the woman was worth $500,000, $8 million in today's money. But then, a notorious white bootlegger named Dutch Schultz, with ties to the mafia and corrupt politicians, chose to take over Harlem's black gambling business. He issued an ultimatum: sell your business to me or pay royalties. But while everyone panicked, St. Clair published her response to his ultimatum in the papers. I'm not afraid of Dutch Schultz or any other living man.
That's
He'll
crazy.
never touch me. I will kill Schultz if he sets foot in Harlem. He is a rat. The policy game is my game. This led to a full-scale war, but St. Clair was the one who struck first.
No.
She organized black gamblers to undermine Schultz's associates and intimidate white gamblers working for him. She even took out ads encouraging black Harlemites to patronize only black gambling outfits. Furious Schultz retaliated by issuing threats, murdering her men, and placing a bounty on her head.
Damn.
At one point, he even sent an assassin to take her life, but St. Clair killed the hitman. Eventually, it was the mafia who assassinated Schultz for an unrelated dispute. And St. Clair, in her eccentric fashion, sent a telegram to her fallen enemy, signed, Madam Queen of Policy.
That's crazy.
It read,
That's-
as ye
now
sow,
that's gangster.
so shall you reap.
Now that's gangster.
From then on,
Shit.
St. Clair would get into a weird one-year trial period marriage with this man, Bishop Amaru Almu Minin Sophie Abdul Hamid, and would later terminate her.
Whoever his mama is
Amaru
bogus, is a
Almu
mother.
Minin Sophie Abdul Hamid.
Bishop Amarino al Menino Surfi Abdul Hamid. What the fuck?
And would later terminate her subscription with 3 bullets
Oh.
after she caught him cheating.
Oh.
After spending 10 years in prison for the crime, St. Clair stepped back from crime and died poor. Today, she's remembered as a gangster, civil rights advocate, fashionista, and businesswoman who successfully took on one of the men of her era and won.
That's crazy. To win.
Sister Ping,
Crazy.
1949 to 2014.
Her name
Sister-
was Sister?
Ping was born on the 9th of
What
January,
the hell?
1949, in a poor farming village in northern China. By the time she was 15, she began taking care of her family when her father illegally immigrated to the US. He stayed there for 13 years before he was apprehended and deported to China in 1977. In China, Ping's father began smuggling people into the US, introducing his daughter to a career that would come to define her future.
Damn.
In
He was
1974,
going crazy.
Ping moved to Hong Kong, became successful, and opened a factory in Shenzhen, China. By June 1981, with the help of an elderly couple, Ping successfully applied to be a nanny in New York. Along with her family, she smuggled herself into Chinatown, Manhattan on the 17th of November, 1981. There she opened a shop called Takshun Variety Store, where she appeared to care for elderly immigrants from her village. In truth, it was a
Appeared?
front for her one-woman human smuggling operation, where she moved many of her villagers from China into the US using
Damn.
forged identification
How the
documents.
hell you get somebody from China all the way to the US? How the fuck do you do that illegally? Now he finna say something about some forged documents, and that's the only thing I could think of, shorty, because okay, Mexico is like, nigga, you just walk. You just walk and you be alright. Well, I mean, I know it's some little intricate things in between, but it's like, you know.
Many of her
But this shit here
villagers from
just
China
cray-cray.
into the U.S. using forged identification documents, commercial airlines, and cargo ships. These illegal immigrants were charged $35,000, and Chinatown's most violent thugs enforced payment. In 1989, Canadian police discovered her racket and arrested her. She served only 4 months, and upon her release, she got right back to business. There was a high demand during this period because the
That's
U.S.
crazy.
government offered Chinese students present in the United States at the time of the Tiananmen Square protest of 1989 an opportunity to stay. So thousands of illegal immigrants flooded towards the country, and Sister Ping was there to lend aid, at a price, of course. Meanwhile, the shipments with illegal immigrants capsized, killing everyone on board, and her name came under the authorities' radar. By the time she was eventually caught, the U.S. Department of Justice declared at her sentencing that Sister Ping was one of the first and ultimately most successful human smugglers of all time.
Chinese Harriet Tubman.
She was worth around $40 million.
God
She was arrested
dang.
in Hong Kong while using a fake passport.
Damn.
A month later, she was extradited to the U.S. and handed a 35-year sentence. On the 24th of April 2014, age 65, Sister Ping passed away in
She
jail.
look crazy
and at
as
her
hell,
funeral
bro.
in Manhattan, thousands of mourners flocked the streets, showing you just how influential Sister Ping was.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Assunta Maresca, 1935 to 2021. From a small town in Campania, the
Campania, what
Maresca
is
family
that?
had a terrible reputation that stretched across Naples. The head of the
Naples? Where the
family,
fuck is
Alberto Maresca, was a notorious smuggler of contraband cigarettes. His brother Vincenzo had killed his older brother, Gerardo, in
Damn.
cold blood. And the entire family were known as the Lightning Knives because of how good they were with switchblades. This was the family that Assunta was born into, the only girl out of 4 boys. By the time she was 19, everyone wanted to marry her because of how beautiful she was. On the 27th of April 1955, she settled for a Camorra boss known as Pasquale
Come on,
Simonetti,
settled for.
who dealt in smuggled goods. But just 3 months after their marriage, Pasquale was gunned down
Damn,
in Naples
3
Central
months
Square
after?
by a hitman employed by a jealous rival named Camarista Antonio Epicito. Assunta was devastated, 6 months pregnant, and thirsty for revenge.
Oh, she
so she
went
drove to
gangsta all
Naples
the way,
with her
gangsta.
youngest brother, Ciro, pulled out a revolver, and fired 29 bullets into Antonio,
Damn.
killing him like he killed her husband, in cold blood and broad daylight.
Ooh, while she was pregnant.
When asked why she shot him 29 times, Assunta said that she thought she would miss. Her case was taken to trial in 1959, and it got the attention of the world when she famously declared in the middle of the trial proceeding, "I would do it again." The whole courtroom burst into cheers. And men, once again, began sending marriage proposals while her trial was ongoing. Eventually, she got a 13-year sentence, gave birth to her first child, Pasquale, in prison, and was ultimately pardoned in 1965 after spending 10 years inside. After this, Assunta returned to Camorra and got married to another Camorra boss named Umberto Amaturo.
She went to
Her son was a
prison
teenager
for 10 years, came out still being a gangster.
at the time, hated Amaturo, and the latter threatened to kill him. In 1974, Pasquale was abducted and killed, and Assunta blamed Amaturo for killing her son. The two separated in 1982, and from here on, Assunta devoted all of her energy to the Camorra and her family's business. She took active roles, organized rallies, and publicly defied the boss of a rival Camorra clan after he imposed taxes on her family's business and almost killed her brother, Ciro. In 1982, she and her estranged lover, Amaturo, were accused of killing a forensic scientist. Although she denied involvement, she was given a 4-year sentence. After her release, Assunta lived in solitude till December 2021, dying a month before her 87th birthday.
This is
Maria
real
Liccardi,
gangsta shit right
1951. Maria Liccardi was born into crime. Her entire family were staunch members of the Camorra, and her father was a well-known local boss, also known as Guapo. Her older brother, Gennaro Liccardi, formed the infamous
Gennaro
Liccardi
Liccardi.
clan, and when it was time to marry, Maria was wedded off to a Guapo in the Camorra. But a series of unfortunate events happened in her family. First, her brother Gennaro died. Then her other 2 brothers who took over were arrested. And her husband, who then took leadership of the Liccardi clan, was also arrested by the police. This left the Liccardi clan without a male head. So Maria took power, becoming the first female camarista to rule the Liccardi clan. She also took leadership over a powerful alliance that her older brother had established among other clans in the Secondigliano
This is
district
some
in
real
Naples.
gangster shit.
Maria
Where's
was able to
Naples
settle
at? Let
a
me
lot
see.
of unrest in the criminal underworld and shut down the guapos who wanted to take control. Maria also found a way to expand the coalition that her brother created until there were at least 20 clans. She also made them more organized, secretive, sophisticated. However,
Oh, it's
the
like
biggest
close to
change
Italy.
Maria
It's in
brought to
Italy,
the
I think.
Camorra was the introduction of prostitution, which her deceased brother had strongly opposed. Under Maria, local, mostly underage girls trying to escape poverty were brought from the Albanian mafia for $2,000 and forced into prostitution by the
Damn.
Camorra. Maria also hooked the girls on drugs and ran a system where these girls, now addicted to the substance, spent all of their money buying Maria's drugs. Throughout much of the late 20th century, no one in the law enforcement agencies knew that Maria Liccardi existed. As a result, through her peak, she never got arrested, charged, or even mentioned by the papers. Meanwhile, the Liccardi clan was seen as a charitable organization in her town, giving out food and money to poor neighborhoods. But all of that changed when a tip led to her first arrest in January 1998. Her lawyers did a great job clearing her name, and she faded into obscurity. Business would go on as usual until a rebellious clan went against Maria's wishes, choosing to sell unrefined heroin to her customers and leading to the deaths of many. As the police cracked down on them, a war broke out that forced Maria to respond with violence. In the aftermath of war, there were 120 casualties.
Damn!
But even worse, now the world was aware of Maria's existence. Over the 3 years that followed, Maria avoided arrest, running her clan with an iron fist and assassinating rebellious heads of other clans. On the 14th of June 2001, Liccardi was arrested by the Naples police and sent to jail for 9 years. In prison, she continued running the Liccardi clan. She still does today.
Damn.
The authorities
She's still in
know
prison?
that she's the only thing standing between the relative peace in the Camorra and the complete mayhem that would unleash in her absence. Hey, thanks for
Damn.
watching.
This is what the this is some crazy shit.